मये यः प्रज्ञभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमेत्यन्तः स्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामि सम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृ पुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वाय एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। भूरम्भांस्यनलो नीलोऽम्बरमहर् नाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्मात् विभुः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्धेतत् पुनरष्टधा परिणतं च ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम् तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। हरि ओम।
Mahadev, Mahadev, Mahadev. एक minute. I think we just need to make a little adjustment in the audio. Mahadev. Is this audio video okay?
Mahadev Swamiji. It is okay, Swamiji.
All right. All right. Om brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tam hadevamatma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanaganaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sangha Pavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Om Mahadeva. Since this is a question answer session, if there be any questions, I will try to answer those. Does anybody have questions?
Pranam
Ji
Swamiji.
Swamiji. Pranam. Should I go or somebody is going?
Now you go ahead.
Okay. Pranam Swamiji. Swamiji, my question is, once in one of the question answer session, you mentioned about pragya or medha. So Swamiji, how a student can improve the medha and become medhavi, receptive of all the knowledge? How can improve someone?
Medha, the word medha is defined as Granthavadharana Shakti hai. Granthartha Avadharana Shakti hai. It is a cognitive ability by which one is able to grasp the entire meaning of the teaching. So it is not like Smriti. Smriti is different. Smriti means memory. Through memory, you can reproduce verbatim. Whether the thing is understood or not understood, the Smriti is the cognitive faculty by which the reproduction, it can be reproduced, it can be, brought as it is, then it is called as Smriti. But Medha is Granthartha Avadharana Shakti. To understand something very clearly. And when something is understood, you can deliver it in different words, paraphrase it, without distorting its original content. Some days ago, I had this opportunity of having a conversation with a very famous Sahasravadhani. Did I tell you this incident ever?
I'm not aware of Swamiji.
Okay, so no. In Andhra Pradesh, especially in south of India, this tradition still continues. So a student has to face, let us say, 10 people. And all the 10 people have different questions. So the first person will say, tell me only 10 shlokas of Kalidas. The second person may ask, tell me shlokas in which the word, let us say, tvam is not used. 10 shlokas. The third person may have another question where he may say that I want another 10 shlokas only in this particular chanda, then in a meter, and so on and so forth. So they all the 10 will have different questions. And the student or the person listens to those questions in one go and answers each one of them sequentially. Now, somebody may ask, just quote 10 shlokas which does not use the sound R, ref in it. Rep ka ucharan kiye bina. There is no sound of R. So now the student, if he is able to answer them in the same sequence as they have demanded, now then he is announced as Dashavadhani. So there are Ashtavadhani, Dashavadhani, then there would be even Shatavadhani. So 100 people have asked questions, different questions, unrelated to the previous question, and he answers. So I met this gentleman who is Shatavadhani, Sahasravadhani, that he could remember every question, their answer, and answer it sequentially, not jumble it up, not juxtapose it anywhere, but answer it sequentially and satisfy the questioners. And there were 1,000 questions, 1,000 people, parikshakas. So then I asked him, how does he do it? How did he do it? He said, not that I understand the meaning of everything that I reply. He was very, very honest about it. He said, but I can reproduce. I can reproduce. Because when something is set in meter, the meter by itself gives you a certain rhythm. And when in tune with the rhythm of those meters, or in fact, even with of every sound, then it is not very difficult at all. And then he also said that in my childhood, as a very young boy going to the school, he was initiated into a process of meditation. And he would simply do that meditation, because of which the memory improved, and it became so, what do they call, efficient, as a prodigy from his school days. Because he said that after I was introduced to this meditation, because I was a physically weak child and I would fall sick continuously. So my parents had gone to various doctors, but to of no avail. And then finally, they had taken him, they were visiting their guru. And so this Mahatma put his hand on his head and said that, now son, that you are initiated, I will tell you what kind of meditation to do. And then this is what happened. He said that, I started finding that this meditation was quite interesting. And it was because of my physically being so weak, I was not able to go out and play. I had plenty of time. And so it kept him occupied. And that was his game with the memory. Yet, so we know that there are, the cognitive faculties like smriti, medha, prajna, they have something to do with a process of meditation. So also with medha, one very important thing is that attention should remain without a split. And another thing is that when the person speaks or when you're reading something, without the interference of our prejudices, if we are able to understand what is being said without being in a hurry, without being in a haste to reply, to accept or to reject, if one is able to look at it very clearly, just understanding, now that becomes something like helps you to understand and also retain it. Granthartha avadharana shakti. Not only that, so there is a role of smriti also when it comes to the medha is assisted by smriti, avadharanam, because then it should also be able to bring it out. Whatever has been understood, maybe paraphrased, maybe different words, but it can be. And that is how a good teacher is. That, many years ago, I was with one of the teachers and of Chinmaya Mission. And there was one young man, because Puja Gurudev used to use this word Vasana Purgation. And because Gurudev was bombastic in his language, undoubtedly. I mean, to this date, the standard of English that he has been appreciated everywhere. But any which way, so he coined a word which said Vasana Purgation. You take this medicines to purge out if there's constipation, etc. So he used the word Vasana Purgation. Now it has caught the attention of people so much that, it seems like, to use these words becomes like a lingo. And so this young man came to this Swamiji with whom I was there, and he asked, Swamiji, how to purgate vasanas? And Swamiji, who was there, very, very sharp, intelligent, and meant his business, he said, okay, I will tell you, but ask me the same question in different words. You see this? Now ask me the same question in different words. And this man was totally speechless because he's using the words, but the meaning of those words is not available to him. Now, words without meaning would only become noise. We may use words, but what exactly is meant by those words is something very, is to be known. When I was in Vrindavan and studying under Rajaram Shastriji and Swami Vishwatmananji, that time Swami Vishwatmananji said this in Hindi to me. He said, देखो ब्रह्मचारी, शब्द की गम कहां तक है वो देख लो. शब्द की गम कहां तक है वो देख लो. Which means discover what is the reach of those words. Don't just be satisfied by associating some meaning. Let that word take you as far as it can take you. And when you're riding on those words, and when the word has taken you to its destination where it has, now that wherever it has, you could use different words to express it. That means without distorting the content, distorted knowledge is not knowledge at all. So without distorting, if it can be packed, framed in different words, it still is the same thing. So avadharana. So when you look at those words, allow those words and try to understand to the extent, the farthest extent that the words can drive you to, then you have understood what is meant. So now avadharanam, artha avadharanam is taking place. And grantha means whatever is said, spoken, written, everything. Okay. Grantha just does not mean a whole set of book or something. It means even one shloka also can be called as a grantha. So that is Medha. And Medhavi is the one now who understands something very clearly. Okay. Such a person is Medhavi. And Artha Avadharanam, it is retained. Because a lot of times it also does happen that we may understand something quickly and it also evaporates very quickly. Right? We understand, but it is not retained. So both of these things, this retention is the part of the Smriti. So that's why Medha, that understanding supported, the clarity of understanding supported by Smriti, then is Medha. So learn to become aware, patient, without interfering what is being read, heard, seen, without allowing the prejudices or a haste to judge something, to come to a judgment. Samajh lo. And then when something is understood, whether it has to be refuted, supported, or dislodged, or even it has to be neglected, all those things you could do later on, but not till whatever is there is understood properly. This is then Medha. And you could help this develop, because it is a cognitive faculty. It is available in each one of us. And as if it goes to sleep. There is one shloka in the Durga Saptashati. Medhasi Devi Vidita Khila Shastra Sara Durga si Durga Bhavasagara Naura Sangha Shri Kaita Bhari Hridayai Katrita Adhivasa Gauri Tvameva Shashimauli Krita Pratishtha. Hey Devi, Tvam Medhasi. You are Medha. in the Vedas, we have one Suktam also called as Medha Suktam, in praise of Medha. So over here, the shloka says, Devi, you are Medha. What kind of Medha are you? Medha si Devi Vidita Khila Shastra Sara, that you have gathered that Medha, which means, which has gathered the essence of Akhila Shastra. Okay? Akhila Shastra means the entire range of Shastras, and you have gathered the essence of it. That essence is you. Medha si Devi Vidita Khila Shastra Sara, Durga si Durga Bhavasagar Naura Sangha, and you are that Durga, which like a nauka, which takes across the seeker, the person across this. Vidita Medha si Devi Vidita Khila Shastra Sara, Durga si Durga Nauhu Asanga. That nauka means nauka, which is untouched, unfazed by anything. Naura Sangha, carrying the people across this Durga Bhayankar Samsara, uninfluenced. Naura Sangha, and you are Sakshat, that Lakshmi, Shrihi, Hriday, Kaitabha Hriday Kakritadivasa, that Bhagavan Vishnu has made you, given you the seat in his heart, and you are that Gauri who is worshipped, revered, established, installed by Bhagavan Shiva. So this Medha is this ability then, this cognitive Shakti, because it is a Shakti, which when is able to gather the Shastra Sara, becomes the nauka to go across samsara. So it is not something ordinary. And by the grace of God also, this is the Medha is awakened, or you have to nourish it slowly and steadily. Okay, by not coming to judgments very quickly, hastily, but patiently allowing yourself to soak, understand its details of whatever is being spoken, whatever is seen, whatever is heard. Now then the Medha comes to play her role. So this is Medha, and this is how, if one can wean away from the habit of constantly judging, then this cognitions, because once a judgment is passed, which means that you need not give any more attention to it, isn't it? When you think that it is done, I have understood, you have already closed the file. So दूसरी बात यह है, बद्धा खबर छे, I know everything. This is one problem. I know everything. Bada khabar che. We had this one, Gujarati gentleman, as when we were teenagers, and over there. So this gentleman used to, because he would come constantly say, "Mana bada khabar che, mana bada khabar che," and mane bada khabar che. So for anything that you go to him, because in that organization, then we had to report or whatever, he was taking care of that youth group. And you go for anything. Ganesh festival karna hai, mane badha khabar chhe. Mana badha khabar chhe. We want Fevicol, we want this, or for the decoration. Mana badha khabar chhe. So finally, all the boys and girls named his as Badha Khabar. Now Badha Khabar chhe, I know everything is how can you say claim to be omniscient? So try to be patient, and this patience also gives you that maturity. When you are trying to understand people, things, or book, or anything, without sitting on a judgment right from the beginning. So samajh lo. And once when something is understood, there is going to be the judgment in the sense that it is a natural response that will come. You need not sit with a prejudice over there. इसको तो अभी दिखाई देते थे, इसको तो गलत ही साबित कर देंगे, कोई जरूरत नहीं है, समझो पहले. So that is being, like a child trying to understand. And that's why that Medha is like a mother. Gauri Tvameva Shashima Ulikrita Pratishtha. This is about Medha. And as you know, Prajna, directly over there, Bhagavan Patanjali says that as a result of the Samadhi Abhyasa, Dhyana Abhyasa that one does, even the Prajna becomes brighter. And there is a prajna which is spoken in the Yoga Sutras, and that prajna is Ritambhara prajna. Ritam means the Shastriya Satyam. Satyam is, even you can say the Vyavaharika Satyam. तुमने आज खाना खाया? हाँ जी खाया. खाया होगा तो खाया. हाँ, सत्यम. झूठ बोला है कभी? हाँ बोला है. सत्यम, व्यावहारिक सत्यम. But ritam means शास्त्रीय satyam. So that शास्त्रीय satyam is called as ritam. Ritambhara prajna means that cognition for which now whatever the Shastra has said is seen as Satyam. So it is not strong belief or conviction or, something like that. So when you see a fact, and when that fact, then you are not going to say, well, if it is a rope, and you say, well, it is a rope, the other person may say, no, it is a snake, it is a pushpamala, it is a danda. And you said, no, sir, it is a rope, it is a rope. So somebody may say, you are adamant. See how we are accepting of other people's opinions. This is not being obstinate, this is not being adamant. But when you see a fact, the fact is appreciated as a fact, and then the fact cannot be even replaced. Correct? If it is a rope, you cannot replace it by saying that, well, now, because I love you, you are my wife, and you are seeing a snake, that's why I'm going to call it a snake. It could be your wife, it could be your father, it could be even Chaturmukha Brahma coming and telling it is a snake. Yet if it is a rope and understood as a rope, if it is knowledge, then nothing can shake it up. Like that, there is prajna, prakarshena, there is prakarsha meaning intensely known. Intensity of knowing is clearly known. So there is this prajna in which ritambhara, and it is filled with ritam. When it is said by the Shastra that this Srishti is Pancha Mahabhautika, now very clearly the person understands how this Srishti, how this world is Pancha Mahabhautika. Now, this does not remain as information or as a belief. He sees as bhara, matlab bhari hui, filled with ritam. तो शास्त्र जैसे कहता है वैसे ये वस्तु है, ये दिखता है. This is the prajna, ritam bhara prajna. Now, there are laukika upayas. Everything has got laukika upayas, and also there are alaukika, daivi upayas. Upay समझते हो ना? A means, a remedy.
जी स्वामी
ठीक है ना?
जी
उपाय. तो कुछ चीजों के लिए everything has लौकिक. For example, generally people get married, they have children. So the copulation is laukika upaya, correct? Laukika upaya bhi hona hi chahiye.
जी
But in case, now as I explained you yesterday, day before, whenever, that there was, Raja Dasharatha has to do the putreshti yajna, correct? There is an ishti called as putreshti.
जी
Putreshtika. So this is alaukika upaya. Alaukika upaya, when does alaukika upaya come into play? When in spite of the laukika upaya is not able to yield its result. तो लौकिक उपाय तो होना ही है, परंतु when the laukika upaya is not able to yield its result, you have to have that divine intervention. समझ में आ रहा है?
जी स्वामी जी
हाँ, so ये हो गया अलौकिक उपाय, and both the upayas are required for everybody. That's why karma and upasana both have to be together. Karma and upasana both have to be together. कर्म और उपासना का समुच्चय ही कहा गया है. विद्यांच विद्यांच यस्तद्वेदो भयगम सह उभय. विद्या मतलब उपासना, देव विद्या. तो that vidya, over here vidya does not mean आत्म विद्या. विद्या और अविद्या का अर्थ है कर्म. यहाँ पे विद्या मतलब उपासना और कर्म, and कर्म both have to be together. One without the other is like, a person without one leg, or then it is limping. It will be a disability. तो दोनों होना चाहिए, कर्म और उपासना साथ में. So when it comes to medha, there is one form of Bhagavan Shiva, Dakshinamurti only, which is called as Medha Dakshinamurti. Medha Dakshinamurti. In this form, the mantra also of Dakshinamurti is like that also. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Medham Prayacha Swaha. There is another version of the same mantra in Sharada Tilakam. It says, Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Swahakar hai, isliye ye stri mantra hai. Mantra also has got a gender. Certain mantras are pum mantras, some mantras are stri mantras, some mantras are napumsaka mantras. So over here, this is the stri mantra. And over here, then by doing the dhyanam and puja of Dakshinamurti, Medha Dakshinamurti, this japa has to be done every day. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Medham Prayacha Swaha. So this is the Daivi Upaya to invoke Medha. Laukika Upaya is, which we have discussed before. So this is Medha, Prajna, Smriti, And this is the Daivi Upaya for that. But provided you have to be initiated in it, and then this is done. That is Medha. Medha plays a very important role here.
धन्यवाद स्वामी जी.
Prabhaji, you had a question?
Yeah, Prabhama's question.
Yes, I do. Pranam Swamiji. I want to know what is Chidatma, and when you're in Sushupti, where does that go? And what is Turiya?
That what comes and goes is samsara.
Swamiji, I have a question connected to Prabhaji's question, and it is about Turiya also. Now, I want to know you have explained it earlier. I want to revise the difference between Turiya and Samadhi. What is the difference? And also, like, Turiya is an avastha, but to me, it is also like I'm getting confused between avastha and tattva. Thank you, Swamiji.
So that which comes and goes is samsara. Bhagavan is called as achala, sthanu, like a stump, which does not move. So that on which everything arrives and departs is Parameshwara. And that which comes and goes is samsara. So avastha, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, all these avasthas, along with their abhimanis, come and go. Is not it? Abhimani means Jagrat, Swapna, Abhimani, Jagrat Avastha, Abhimani, Swapna, Abhimani, Sushupta, Abhimani. So the Abhimani, the identity, the ego, comes and goes with those avasthas. Of course, in the Sushupti, the ego is not present during that avastha, but there is an identification with the Sushupti once you wake up. I slept well, I was sleeping. So who was sleeping? This I was sleeping. So that abhimani of that avastha is also seen. Now, the thing is, the one avasthas come and go. Chidatma does not go anywhere. This Chidatma reflected in the Antakaranam, okay, because that is the Karanam which has got the Buddhi as the place where the reflection can take place. Correct?
Yes, Swamiji.
You require the medium to be, like in granite, if you have seen, various temples that you may go to, the floor or the walls are granite. And in some places, the granite is polished so well that, the reflection is seen. True?
Yes, Swamiji.
The reflection is seen. So which means though the reflection was taking place on the other surface of the granite too, yet the reflection was not seen. And where the surface of the stone becomes extremely polished, then the reflection is seen. So also, this Parameshwara, this Chidatma is expressing everywhere, yet its expression becomes specific only in the Buddhi, and over there, Ahamasmi, I am, this cognition also takes place. Okay, so therefore, there is one thing called as Chidatma, and the other one is called as the Chidabhasa, the reflection, Abhasa, the reflection of that Chidvastu. Now, Chidabhasa in the Jagrata Avastha identifies as Jagrata Avastha Bhimani. In Swapna becomes the Swapna Avastha Bhimani. In Sushupti becomes the Sushupti Avastha Bhimani. Okay. So the avasthas, along with their abhimanis, come and go. Okay. In Jagrat Avastha, you are so and so. But in Swapna, you may become a butterfly, you can become something else, is not it? Swapna.
Yes.
So now the abhiman that you have is that I am a butterfly. Just as you have this abhiman now that I am a human being, man or a woman, then there can be another abhiman. And so this abhimani, swapna avastha abhimani also comes and goes. Jagrat avastha abhimani also comes and goes. If I'm going to ask you, are you sleeping now?
No, Swamiji.
If I ask you, do you know nothing now? You say, I know I'm sitting by this computer. I can hear your voice. I can feel whether it is cold or hot. I can feel the carpet under my feet, whatever. True? So I know something. So you are not, you cannot say I knew nothing. I know something. So now that even the abhimana of Sushupti is given up when there is abhimana of Jagrata Avastha. True. But this Chidatma, whose reflection is this Chidabhasa, in various avasthas remains unfazed, unchanged, unmodified, okay, as one. So this Chidatma is always there. How many avasthas have you counted?
3.
Swamiji.
3 avasthas.
Hmm.
So now, in every avastha, the Chidatma is present.
Yes.
Chidatma is present in every avastha, and Chidatma is present in absence of every avastha too.
Mhm.
And therefore, अभी भी देखो ना, अभी जागृत अवस्था है, स्वप्न अवस्था है क्या?
नहीं
नहीं.
सुषुप्ति अवस्था है क्या?
नहीं
नहीं.
मैं हूं. सुषुप्ति में भी I am, but the abhas for that reflection to take place very clearly, you require buddhi. Correct? Buddhi is
Yes.
that medium.
Yes.
But in Sushupti Avastha, the buddhi also has gone into its seed state, Bija Avastha.
Mhm.
So even if there is reflection, that reflection also then goes into the seed state. And that's why the ego is not very clearly seen. But Chidatma is still there. So whichever avastha it may be, Chidatma is not dependent on Chidabhasa or on the avastha. So Chidatma is common through all, is never ever absent, never comes and never goes.
Swamiji, does that mean that Chidatma is the same as Brahman that is outside everywhere?
That is what is to
Because
be
they
known,
say
and that
that
is, yeah.
they
That
say
is,
Chidatma is in the Antakarana. No.
Chidatma is in Antakarana, outside Antakarana, everywhere, but that is what is not known. And that is what is the function of Tattvamasi Mahavakya, to let you know that Chidatma is Paramatma.
So that is the what do you call that, inner self, right? That
Pratyagatma.
Pratyagatma, yes. Okay, so we have a Pratyagatma, like a Jivatma, whatever you call it. And I mean, I'm trying to just understand this clear. And then there's a separate reflection also. Okay.
So we have this, we have, in a sense, you are the owner or what? That is I.
What I mean,
Chidatma is the I. This is the self. Now that which comes and goes are these avasthas and avasthabhimani. And these are 3 in number. Therefore, now Chidatma is called as Turiya, the 4th. Actually, what is the point of calling him 4th? Is always there. So, but then it is called as Turiya. And then the avastha is, there is one avastha also, which is called as Turiya avastha. Okay. Turiya avastha means, Turiya means the 4th. The count of 4 is called as Turiya. Okay. महाराज जी बोलते थे तुरीय को ऐसे समझो चतुर्थीय, तो चतुर्थी का तुरीय है चतुर्था. The 4th one is, the count is called as Turiya, 4, chautha. So because Jagrat is different from Swapna, Swapna is different from Sushupti, and Samadhi is different from Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. Therefore, Samadhi Avastha is also called as Turiya Avastha. But some texts cover it under the Jagrat Avastha. But this is okay. We can call it Turiya Avastha as the Samadhi Avastha. Now, what happens is, identification with avidya is there in all these 3 avasthas. Okay? Identification with avidya, that I am ignorant, I don't know Atma is Brahman, is there in these 3 avasthas. In Sushupti, though, I don't know anything only. And as long as you are going to say, I am this Jagrat Avastha, Abhimani, ego, man, woman, good, bad, Punyavan, Papi, whether Jagrat or Swapna, wahan pe bhi, what are you saying? I am not Brahman, in different words. True?
Yes, Swamiji.
Wahan pe bhi hai. So identification with avidya is there, and identification with avidya is also there in all the 3 avasthas. Now in Samadhi avastha, what happens is, avidya may remain, but identification with avidya is not there.
Okay, Swamiji.
Okay.
And in Mukta avastha of the Jnani, avidya is destroyed, and therefore there is no question of identification with avidya too. That's why the Jnani's Samadhi is never broken, because there is no identification with avidya. Why not identification? Because avidya itself is not there for him. That's why even if you say there is Turiya Avastha, and that is Samadhi, what is the difference between Samadhi and Jnanam? And what is the difference between Samadhi and the other 3 states? In the other 3 states, avidya is there, and identification with avidya is also there. A. In Samadhi, though avidya may remain, because once out of the Samadhi, this person is again going to say, I don't know I am Brahman. I know that I am Asanga Purusha, but I don't know that I am a Brahman. Purusha does not mean a mardan, aurat wala purush nahi. Purusha means chetan vastu. Technical शब्द है ना वो. So he says avidya hai. Avidya is, so now that avidya identification, though avidya was there in the samadhi avastha, the identification with avidya does not take place. Got it?
Yes, Swamiji.
Avidya and avidya karya, both is not there. And in jnanam, avidya is destroyed, but and therefore identification with avidya is not there. Both is not there. That's why this is the difference between mukta avastha and meaning the vidya dasha and the samadhi dasha, which is of ajnani samadhi. If there is samadhi, jnani jaise yagyavalkya koi baith gaya, to wahan pe to avidya karya, which will continue even after the destruction of the avidya. Jivan mukti vivek sun rahe ho na?
Ji, Swamiji.
So over there, did he not say that prarabdhavashat deham buddhi etc. will continue for some time?
Ji, Swamiji.
Like even when you switch the electricity off from a fan, it continues to be in motion for a little while.
Ji, Swamiji.
Like that, the body-mind complex, which has come into motion by the force of avidya, okay, by avidya, due to the force called as prarabdha, it will continue for some time. So karya will continue, though the karan has got destroyed. Correct?
Ji, Swamiji.
So in the vidya dasha of a jnani also, this is bound to happen. There is no avidya, therefore there is no identification with avidya. But on a vyavaharika level, on a transactional level, empirical level, now the body-mind complex goes. And if you are going to ask a jnani, somebody like Ramana Maharshi or some, Shankaracharya, bhojan kiya, so what will he say?
Yes.
Maine bhojan kiya. So now there is, to reply that maine kiya means there is food taken into this body, which means, and he is calling it as I, so which means there is some form of identification with the karya, but the karan is destroyed. So karya continues, and so therefore now somebody like Yajnavalkya says that what is the point of the just even looking at this body and being identified, not necessarily so give it up. So Jivan Mukti, and so he gives himself to Samadhi. So wahan pe avidya bhi nahi, avidya ka karya bhi nahi, and that's why there is no identification with it in his Samadhi. But in Mukta Avastha, avidya is also not there. Identification with avidya is not there. And in the Samadhi Avastha of an Ajnani, somebody who is a prolific yogi, Siddha yogi, in his Samadhi Avastha, though avidya is there, but identification with avidya is not there. So that is the Turiya Avastha. Okay, so there is Turiya Vastu is Chidatma. Okay? Turiya is Chidatma, Turiya Avastha is Samadhi, and in Mukta Avastha, there is not even avidya, not even identification with avidya. ठीक है ना?
Ji, Swamiji.
Yes, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay, thank you, Swamiji.
ठीक है.
Any other questions? Swamiji, just one reflection now, how you were giving the example. With your permission, may I just share my reflection with you? You were giving an example of the fan and the prarabdha. So if my body is a fan, the prarabdhas are running that fan, and I use the button of meditation to switch on and switch off the fan, that is the prarabdha, then that's when the speed is going to become low and low and low of the fan, and that's when the prarabdha us hisab se, and I will start going vasanaएं कटेंगे उस तरीके से. Am I making the right connection?
Think about it.
Like meditation comes as a tool to take care of the vasanas, prarabdha. It's all just a thought when you were giving the example of the fan and the electricity. That how do you reduce the speed? That's what.
How can you reduce the speed of that arrow which has already left? वो तो अपने आप खत्म होता है.
Swamiji, if I say this example as when you pluck a flower, when offer it, and it lives for some more time. So we call that as a prarabdha, that it is living for some more time because of its prarabdha, like that.
Good.
And it will fade off in its own time. I see.
Good.
Okay.
Good. ठीक है. Let's do the Shanti part. I hope you have few answers. और याद रखना कर्म और उपासना साथ में चलने चाहिए. Whatever duties that you are doing, do them righteously, ईश्वरार्पण भावना से, और ईश्वरार्पण भावना से जो कुछ उपासना भी करनी चाहिए. And we have seen in this Tattvanusandhan itself, if you remember, when we were looking at the Vishwa Vaishwanara, Taijasa Hiranyagarbha, Rajya, and Rajya and Ishvara. Okay, in that reference, he has explained Upasana. अगर वो कुछ याद है तो याद रखना. ठीक है भाई. All right. Thank you all. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Thank you all. Thank you very much.